In this video, we're gonna talk about the 10 essentials that every law firm website needs to have, without exception. That way you can turn potential clients into clients. Let's dive in. Welcome to Law Venture. My name's Jarrett Stone. I'm the owner of Stone Firm PLLC, and today I am your guide to talking about law firm websites. In particular, my goal with this video is to help your law firm's website be the best version of itself. But before we dive into the nitty-gritty details talking about the essentials, if you're new here, consider subscribing down below. That way you get notifications whenever new content is released. And in doing so, whenever you are in that general area, whether or not you are new, I recommend that you hit the like button. Doing so not only supports the channel, but allows videos like this to rank higher, and then in doing so, allows it to reach more people. And the goal is to reach as many people as possible. That way Law Venture can help as many people as possible. And if you are new to Law Venture, then you're probably not familiar with who I am and my background. So allow me to kind of fill in some gaps here. That way the rest of this video makes more sense. In particular, I'm a lawyer. I'm a personal injury lawyer who also handles class actions. That's what I spend most of my time doing. I am not some website coder and developer by any means. I don't even have a background in it. In fact, if we go all the way back to before law school, my major in undergrad was philosophy. My minor was English. Pretty sure with that major and minor, we didn't really believe in computers. So if I'm not a website developer or coder, then what am I? I'm cheap. In fact, whenever I decided to go solo and to start my own virtual law firm, I decided that I was going to keep my overhead expenses at a bare minimum. I didn't want to spend money on something that I didn't understand. In other words, I didn't want to have to pay for an expense out of ignorance. And so at that stage in my life, I decided to try and figure out how can I build a website. I was doing the research and quickly learning that you can build an amazing law firm website, not only on a budget, but you can do it 100% yourself. The point here is that I have created a free online course that'll teach you as a lawyer on how to build your law firm's website and how to incorporate all of these essentials we're talking about in this video. I'll slide the link above so that you can go over to Law Venture, you can go through the step-by-step course, and you can go through all the tutorials and lessons. And the big kicker of all of this is it's going to save you so much time. All the time I spent on YouTube, all the time I spent on Google, all the time I spent through trial and error, I've boiled it down into this particular course to help you save that time. And if that doesn't motivate you to go check out the course, maybe this will. I've already had a student of the course let me know that by creating her own website that she controls, it's looking like she's gonna be able to save around $400 per month. That's money she can put back into her business, back into her law firm in order to grow it and expand it, and that's always a good thing. Enough of that, let's dive into the essentials by talking about essential number 1, automating your intake. This one is huge, and you should make sure that your website does the work for you. That's going to save you time, that's gonna save you energy, and those are the two most precious commodities to any lawyer who owns their own law firm. In particular, when people land on your website, if you have a button that takes them to an intake quiz, that intake quiz can act like a filtering process to where based on the questions and based on the responses to those questions, people are going to be directed down a certain path. And if you can have a really effective intake quiz and filtering process, the cases that you end up not wanting to take, the cases you have no interest in, you can filter those cases out to where based on their answers, maybe they end up landing on a page that says, unfortunately, you don't handle that area of law, so you're not able to help them. You were able to do all of that automatically through your website. And then this is when things get even more powerful. The cases that survive the quiz/filtering process end up being directed to a page that has a set of forms on it. And in the free course that I was talking about earlier, I walk you through how you can use forms in order to automate the best cases your way. In particular, Once they survive the filtering process and once they fill out the forms and give you the information that you need, then you can set it up to where you automatically receive an email alert. I mean, just think about this. You're working, you're on your laptop, and then you hear a ding. And then you look on your email, and then you see that there's a new form filled out. You click on the form, you look at the facts on the form, and that looks good. The facts look real good for a case, a strong case. And then within the form, you see the name, you see the number of the potential client, you give them a call. You have a short phone call. You don't have to have this long phone call getting anything and everything because you already have most of the information from the form. You had the short phone call, you make your impression, you get them signed up, and you didn't have to do too much in that situation. Contrast that with, I don't know, just having a form on your website like most lawyers end up having, and anyone and everyone is filling out the form. You're getting ding, 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 and then you're having to read through all the forms and you see, I know your website doesn't say that you handle this, or I know your website specifically says you don't handle this. And then you realize, wow, I'm spending a lot of time going through these emails, reading these forms, and maybe I'm getting something that's super vague, so I give that person a phone call. Turns out I don't take that case either. And that's a lot of time, that's a lot of energy. And again, those are two commodities that you can't spare. Automate your website, make your life a whole lot easier. Essential number 2, having reviews with photos. People don't trust lawyers. If they're on your website, they need a lawyer. But the problem is, nobody likes lawyers. The only lawyer that somebody likes is their lawyer. And at this point in time, if they're a potential client, you're not their lawyer. So you don't have that luxury. And here's the biggest issue. If you're trying to convert that potential client to a client and they're on your website and you don't have the reviews from Yelp, from Facebook, from Google on your website, then your hope is that they're going to stay on your website, open up a new tab, and then search for Google reviews in order to kind of get a sense of exactly who you are in your practice and how well you handle cases. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. They're gonna bounce super quickly and go to the next search result. You don't wanna have to worry about that. You wanna gain credibility instantly by having those reviews. And you can up that level of credibility by having photos attached to those reviews, putting faces and smiles to the words that are talking very kindly and highly to you. In my particular situation, my homepage to my law firm is just littered with reviews. And I have no concern about there being too many reviews because that's simply a great problem to have. Because at that point, if people are scrolling, they're like,
Oh my goodness, this person has so many reviews by all these real people based on all these photos. This is so annoying. They just do such a great job.
yeah, that's not gonna happen. Granted, there are situations where clients are like, yeah, I don't feel super comfortable giving you my photo. That's fine. I still post the actual review itself. I just don't post the photo, but I make sure the photos and the reviews that come together, they're front and center. They're at the top of the website. That way I can gain that instant credibility with the potential client. Essential number 3, having a strong hero image. Your hero image is basically the billboard that's at the very top of your website. It sits front and center. It's the first thing people see. It's the first impression, and you don't want to blow it. I can't tell you how many times I'm on Google and I'm searching law firms and I'm going to their website and their homepage just to see what the competition's doing, or maybe to get inspiration to implement on my website. And I see this all the time to where their hero image is super weak. It's some stock photo of a car wreck or a city skyline, or it's just like a tiger or a panda or a zebra. Doesn't make sense. It has no actual connection whenever I try and look at it from the perspective of a potential client. Instead, this is your opportunity to introduce yourself. So I want you to have a great first impression by making sure that you're strategic with your hero image. Essential number 4, personalize yourself. Here's the cliche that a lot of law firms use on their website, which is you have this photo, right? You have the arms crossed, you have the mean mugging going on over here. And I don't necessarily have an issue with the photo itself, but there's always the aggressive language that says vigorous representation, won't take no for an answer. And it comes in super hot, super heavy, but it doesn't really have any substance to it, especially because a lot of law firms have exactly the same photo with the same caption. Here's my rationale. If you have reviews, and especially if you have reviews with photo that has that extra credibility, the reviews should speak for your skills. And you don't need to come in explaining yourself, overcompensating for yourself by saying, I'm this heavy hitter, I do this, I do that. Let other people be your billboards. Let other people speak highly for you. And what you need to do instead, and basically zig while everyone's zagging, is to personalize yourself. This is the weirdest phenomenon that I have ever seen firsthand. That's a bold statement, but what I'm getting at here is the fact that as lawyers, it is our job to humanize and personalize our clients so we can sell our client to the jury, to the judge. We do that every single day, or you should do that every single day. But we don't humanize and personalize ourselves as the lawyer. So I recommend maybe dialing down the attack dog approach and personalizing yourself on your website. That way overall, you're more approachable and people feel more comfortable reaching out to you. And at that point, once they reach out, it's your job to turn them from a potential client to a client. Essential number 5, answer objections. No, not those objections, not trial objections. The objections I'm talking about here, basically the hesitation points that people have when it comes to hiring a lawyer at all. If you've handled your fair share of intake or phone calls, then you've probably seen a pattern with certain issues that causes people to hesitate when it comes to hiring a lawyer. Or there's certain resistance points that you have to address. And in doing so, once you address them, you can typically convert that person into a client. But the issue is if people are going on your website and they don't see the answers to these hesitation points or the solutions to these problems, then some people may say, yeah, it's just not worth calling the lawyer. It's just not worth going through this automated intake. Other people, they may still feel motivated to do it, but the point is your percentage of people who end up funneling to the automated intake or who end up funneling to the phone calls, those people are going to be higher when you can address those concerns and problems up front at the very beginning. And that's all going to happen on your website. Essential number 6, make sure your website is mobile friendly. A lot of people go to lawyer websites while on their phone. It's just so convenient to reach in your pocket, pull out your phone, do a quick search, or maybe you're browsing through Facebook or Instagram. You see a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad for a lawyer, you click on it, you get on the lawyer's website, and if it's not optimized for mobile, it's gonna be a terrible user experience. They're gonna bounce super quickly. And that high bounce rate is going to be frowned upon by Google, and as a result, Google is going to tank your rankings. None of that's good. If you have a website builder like the one that we use in the free online course I was talking about earlier, that is designed to not only build a website on a laptop, but can very easily allow you to make tweaks and changes so it's mobile friendly. That's going to make your life a whole lot easier. So be sure to figure out what your situation is when it's on mobile and figure out what changes need to be made and then implement those changes, because it's all about the user experience. Essential number 7, make sure you have a clear message with clear benefits. You really need to emphasize the important information on your website. And that doesn't mean that you need to put all the important information on the same parts of the page to where it's super cluttered, because if it's super cluttered, no one's really going to be able to see anything. It just turns into white noise that isn't going to be very effective. So be strategic with how you deliver the information. For example, I see a lot of law firms put at the very bottom of their webpage the fact that giving them a phone call, that initial phone call, is 100% free, so don't hesitate to reach out, is basically how the pitch goes. The problem though, is that it's at the very bottom. And so the issue you really have, or the risk you run, is a potential client lands on the homepage, they're going through it, but in their mind, they're thinking they may have to give this lawyer a call, and before they get to the bottom, they bounce. If you put that information up front at the very top, it allows them to be more open-minded as they're going through the website's page. Essential number 8, sticky. I've recently have become a big fan of the sticky bar. And as you can see, the sticky bar at some point gets stuck to the screen as somebody is scrolling, and as they keep on scrolling, it's still there. And as a result, If they decide to click the button to eventually go to my automated intake, they just have to go to the very top. They don't have to scroll all the way back up top or all the way back down or at some awkward 77% of the page in order to find a button. It makes things super simple. I used to have buttons all over my law firm page, but it made things really congested. I didn't really like the appearance of it. I try to keep my website very, very clean. That way I can emphasize certain points, and a sticky button is a great way to do that. Essential number 9, Facebook pixel. This one's pretty simple, but also pretty powerful. You see, if you have a Facebook pixel on your law firm's website, then it'll fire off every time somebody visits your website. What I mean by that is it'll track exactly who is on your website, which is a little creepy. And if that person ends up going on Facebook or going on Instagram, then you can run retargeted ads to those particular people. That way you can give them a quick reminder on who you are, what you're about, or you can also promote posts to them, and that gives them a little bit of a nudge to say, hey, go back to my website if you still need a lawyer. Essential number 10, security. I never thought my law firm's website would be hacked. It's a small website in comparison. I'm like, who's gonna spend the time trying to hack this small website? Well, I was wrong. It was hacked, and it was a complete pain and a mess to get fixed. Ended up being fixed. It wasn't good. So you can avoid all of that by taking security measures. That way, it's also going to make it a much better user experience, because in my situation, I was running Facebook ads, and anybody going to my website either through Facebook or through Instagram or through Google or through a direct link were being rerouted to spam pages. Not only is that bad for the brand, it's bad for the experience. And as a result, I was not a happy camper. So in the free online course that I was talking about earlier, there's a particular lesson that takes you step by step, and it gives you free resources, free plugins that'll help secure your website and make it a whole lot safer. I highly recommend that you check that one out. So that's it for this video, but before you go, if you have your own essentials that you want to share with the Law Venture community, be sure to leave those down in the comments section. Also, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or thoughts, comment section down below. If you're still watching this video, I'm going to assume that you like it, so don't forget to hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and with all that said, I'll see you in the next video.